Will Levis. Wow, was he clutch or what, man? Down 14 with under 3 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and he finds a way to elevate the Titans into an upset victory over the Dolphins on Monday Night Football. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Will Levis having a wow moment with the Titans as they win their first road game of the season. The Titans shocked the NFL world last night as they beat the Dolphins by the score of 28-27. Will Levis engineered his first fourth quarter comeback of his NFL career, and he did it in a very impressive manner. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. Are you sold on Will Levis being the future for the Titans? If we're talking just for next season, I'm going to have to say yes. As far as whether or not Will Levis will be the franchise quarterback for the Titans, when I say franchise quarterback, I mean 10 to 15 years. I'm going to take the wait and see approach because Will Levis to me has not proven enough in terms of being the franchise quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years, although that is no fault of his. Hey, not everybody can be CJ Stroud in their rookie year, but Will Levis has had a pretty solid rookie year for the Tennessee Titans. Look, he shocked the Miami Dolphins in an epic comeback, and he did so by throwing the ball downfield and being clutch when it mattered most. When I watch Will Levis play, I'm watching growth happening. I'm watching development happening. I'm seeing improvement in Will Levis from game to game. I know a lot of people like to bag on Will Levis, but I have been a Will Levis fan since before the draft. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I thought he was going to be a top 5 pick. I thought that he would be a mid to late first rounder. He ended up dropping to the early second round. Will Levis to me reminded me a lot of Matthew Stafford coming out of the draft, and so far he has justified my thinking with the way that he has been playing for the Tennessee Titans, although I have been very surprised with how little Will Levis has been turning over the football for the Tennessee Titans. I like to see what Will Levis can continue to do for the rest of the season. I like that Will Levis throws a pretty deep ball. I like his size. For the people that don't like Bryce Young, well, you guys probably love Will Levis because Will Levis is 6'4", almost 230 pounds. This guy can throw the ball down the field. He's got big size. He can run. He's a good athlete for his size. He is a guy that can throw it. He can run it. Not really a lot of physical weaknesses with the guy. The question with Will Levis was always about accuracy, and so far his accuracy has still been questionable, but I'm seeing growth and development. Look, you're down 14 points on the road in primetime football. You're 4-8. You got nothing to play for. Your season is essentially over. The Miami Dolphins, on the other hand, are a 9-win team that is trying to currently get the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is something they haven't done since 1984, and they need this game badly in the worst way possible. And for Will Levis to drive his team down the field using DeAndre Hopkins in the receiving game, congrats to Will Levis. I like the fact that Will Levis, he plays fearlessly with the football in his hands. He is a natural born gunslinger. For the people that are familiar with the old school thinking of NFL quarterbacks, you prefer to get gunslingers and then you try to tame them, compared to if you try to get a game manager at first and then you try to make them be more aggressive as time goes on. Well, Will Levis is a perfect case of why you need to get a gunslinger in the draft and then you need to go ahead and tame him, because Will Levis is a guy that was known for his crazy plays at Kentucky. He was a guy that was going to make a lot of mistakes, but he could also make a lot of explosive plays, and so far in the NFL he has given more explosive plays than negative plays for the Tennessee Titans, because although he is only 3-4 as an NFL starting quarterback, he's had impressive games when he has been on the football field. You look at his debut against the Atlanta Falcons, he played pretty well. He threw 4 touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over. He threw for over 200 yards. He played an efficient game. He got DeAndre Hopkins 3 touchdowns. Ask DeAndre Hopkins if he likes playing with Will Levis instead of Ryan Tannehill. And for some odd reason, I don't know how Will Levis wasn't even the backup for the Tennessee Titans to start off the year. Watching the way how Will Levis has been playing football for the Titans, I'm thinking this guy is going to be a pretty solid quarterback. I'm not going to sit up here and say that he is going to ever be this franchise quarterback that's going to be a top 10, top 15 kind of QB, but if you're looking for a starting caliber QB, Will Levis is your guy, because Will Levis has the ability to throw downfield and he's got a can for an arm, and he's also an underrated athlete. I know that the stats may not say that he's a great runner, but when you watch Will Levis play, he can definitely scramble around. It's not like he's a slow quarterback out there, and he knows how to manage a game relatively well. It's not like he's throwing multiple interceptions in the game, which is really surprising for me, because Will Levis was a turnover machine coming out of college, and to see Will Levis not turn over the football nearly as much as the pro level, that is a pleasant surprise for me. But seeing what Will Levis did last night, throwing that deep pass to DeAndre Hopkins right before the end of the half, that helps the Titans get a field goal. You look at how he's down by 14 points, he's still resilient, he's still the same guy, and he's a fiery dude. He is a high energy kind of guy, and he has the good kind of high energy. He's not a diva. He is a guy that is going to rally the troops around him, and he's going to make every throw that he can in the book in order to give his team a chance to win the game. He might not be perfect, but for the Tennessee Titans, they don't need him to be perfect right now because they're in a rebuilding stage and they have a solid running game and Derrick Henry. So they know that, hey, if you have a solid run game and a solid defense, that's going to take pressure off of a young quarterback. And you know the Tennessee Titans, they like to run the football a lot with Derrick Henry. And why wouldn't they? Derrick Henry is an amazing running back. He is a future Hall of Fame running back to me. That is how good Derrick Henry is as a running back in today's NFL. And that's going to open up everything else in the passing game because you put all those 8-man boxes in front of Derrick Henry, that's going to open up the play action passing game, and that's going to help Will Levis throw the football downfield. If only the Tennessee Titans had a better wide receiver 2 or a better wide receiver 3, because outside DeAndre Hopkins, the Titans don't have a good receiving core whatsoever. But hey, if you don't have a good receiving core and you have one good receiver, why not keep gunslinging him the football? Well, Will Levis understood that message perfectly because DeAndre Hopkins had an amazing game again with Will Levis at quarterback. 7 catches, 124 yards, a receiving touchdown. He torched Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners in all of football. You want to talk about the Tennessee Titans being a competitive team despite all the players that they have on IR. I mean, wow, just great football to be seen for the Tennessee Titans. I know they're 5-8, but damn it, they're a pretty good 5-8 team. They're 5-8 because of injuries, not because they're a bad football team or that they're badly coached. It's just the Tennessee Titans are really injured and they were able to win this game on the road on Monday Night Football without Jeffrey Simmons. And the Tennessee Titans, their future is looking somewhat bright. The Ryan Tannehill contract, right now he's a backup quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, but he's going to probably be released this offseason because he's going to be a free agent for them. And the Tennessee Titans, they probably have no reason to bring Tannehill back. It's not like they're contending for the Super Bowl anytime soon. They're in a rebuilding stage. They need to let Tannehill walk as a free agent. They need to let Tannehill figure out that, hey, he needs to go to a different team because his time as a starting QB is up in the NFL. That dude has started way too many games. I can't believe that Will Levis wasn't above Ryan Tannehill in the depth chart because Will Levis is a quarterback that has way more arm strength than Ryan Tannehill ever did. And Ryan Tannehill, when he played, was never a great quarterback. He was a fine quarterback, but he was never a great quarterback. And Ryan Tannehill melted whenever the games mattered most. From what I've seen with Will Levis, though, Will Levis seems to rise up to the occasion when the stakes are at its highest. Now, as far as how Will Levis is doing against the other quarterbacks in this draft class, well, let's just talk about the 3 guys that were taken ahead of Will Levis. You look at how Bryce Young, the Carolina Panthers, took him with the #1 overall pick. He hasn't done too well in Carolina. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, Bryce Young, he doesn't have weapons. He doesn't have an O-line. He doesn't have a coach. Oh, he has ownership that is just beyond dysfunctional. And my response to that would be, yeah, all that is true, but it takes 2 apples to make 1. And Bryce Young just isn't good enough to be an NFL caliber quarterback at the NFL level. At least not yet. He's going to have to greatly improve his arm strength because his arm strength at the NFL level is just not going to cut it. And obviously, if you're the Carolina Panthers, I think you would rather have Will Levis as your quarterback rather than Bryce Young. Obviously, they would have rather had CJ Stroud, and the Carolina Panthers, there were some people in the organization that clearly wanted him, but ownership didn't listen. They went with Bryce Young. Obviously, things haven't worked out, but even Will Levis has been better than Bryce Young at the NFL level. And then, of course, you look at CJ Stroud being ahead of Will Levis. I have no problem with that. And obviously, the Houston Texans, they love CJ Stroud and they love what he's done this year for them. He's going to obviously be the best quarterback in this draft class. And then there was Anthony Richardson with the #4 overall pick. A lot of people thought the Indianapolis Colts, they were going to take Will Levis in the 2023 NFL draft. They chose not to. They took Anthony Richardson. I know that confused a lot of people. I was actually good with that selection. I thought Anthony Richardson would be a better football player than Will Levis. And so far, Will Levis has been better than Anthony Richardson. Although Anthony Richardson has been pretty good in his own right. It's just Anthony Richardson can't stay healthy on the football field. If Anthony Richardson can protect himself from injuries, he's going to be a fine NFL quarterback. But from what I've seen with Will Levis, 8 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions on a team that doesn't really have a great O-line, doesn't really have great receivers outside DeAndre Hopkins. You have to say Will Levis has done just fine for himself. And Will Levis has proven that, hey, the Tennessee Titans, they don't need to take a quarterback in the 2024 NFL draft. They need to go ahead and build this team around Will Levis, or at least let's try one more year of Will Levis at the quarterback position. And then if he doesn't work out, hey, we're going to just take a quarterback in the 2025 NFL draft. As far as whether or not I'm sold on Will Levis being the future, yes, I'm sold in the immediate future. Now, in terms of the long-term future, no, I'm not quite sold yet on Will Levis. I need to see more from him. I need to see him work on his completion percentage. I need to see him process information better on the football field. But hey, there's a lot of good to see from Will Levis, and for him to shock the Miami Dolphins in an epic comeback, that's going to be a game where Will Levis is going to remember for the rest of his life because that was his first fourth quarter comeback of his NFL career, and he did it in dramatic fashion. I was really impressed with the moxie and guts that Will Levis showed out there on the football field because it told me that he belonged on an NFL field somewhere. If he can't make it as an NFL starter, maybe he can be a solid backup for a decade or so. That ain't the worst thing in the world to have for Will Levis's resume. So that's why I am sold with Will Levis being the future for the Titans for at least the 2024 NFL season. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @Dustin Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran and Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.